Tutorial number 9, Spiritual Effects. Spiritual effects are a special ability granted to ministering spirits. Where a strike uses the might of an elohim to affect another elohim, the ministering spirit can use their resolve or strength of will to affect themself or other elohim through spiritual effects. Most spiritual effects will be categorized as a combination of 3 class factors. These are affecting and manifesting, immediate and ongoing, and finally boosting, resistible, wearing, and self. Affecting spiritual effects affect targets in an invisible and intangible way. An example would be blessing, which allows the ministering spirit to give some of his precision to an ally. Manifesting spiritual effects produce an effect that is symbolically manifested. An example would be Gavel of Judgment, which manifests a spiritual hammer the ministering spirit can wield. Immediate spiritual effects are used in the moment and do not need to be maintained. An example would be laying on hands, which allows the ministering spirit to restore the endurance of an ally by sacrificing some of their own. Ongoing spiritual effects can be continuously maintained with the continued use of resolve. An example would be intercession, which allows an ally to resist using the ministering spirit's resolve. Boosting spiritual effects provide a benefit to a friendly target or the ministering spirit themself. An example would be stirred passion, which increases the passion of an ally. Resistible spiritual effects primarily have a negative effect that can be resisted. An example would be bind, which manifests chains that constrict around an enemy. Wearing spiritual effects primarily cause wear to the target. An example would be radiance, which, in addition to lowering enemy precision versus the ministering spirit, can also cause wear to nearby enemies. Self-spiritual effects are centered around the ministering spirit rather than any other target. An example would be detection, which allows the ministering spirit to sense other elohim in the area. It takes 2 movement points to initiate a spiritual effect. It takes only 1 movement point to add an additional target to an existing spiritual effect if the spiritual effect allows additional targets. It takes no movement points to maintain spiritual effects. Ministering spirits can move while initiating and adding targets to spiritual effects. The range of a spiritual effect is 12 inches unless otherwise stated in the spiritual effects description. Most spiritual effects require the ministering spirit to choose a target. The spiritual effect will begin to affect a character as soon as movement points are spent to use it. Different instances of the same affecting ongoing spiritual effect cannot stack on the same character. This concludes tutorial number 9, Spiritual Effects. In the next tutorial, we will cover songs.